Hey guys, I'm Zach, and today I'm going to cut out your boredom. Today I'm going to be taking an old wooden shelf that I have made out of walnut and converting it into a beer mug. Now this shelf does have a finish on it, so the first thing I'm going to do is plane it down on all sides. Then I'm going to cut it into a bunch of little squares, maybe 3.5 inches wide. Then I'm going to glue everything together. So I let everything dry overnight, and now I have this really great blank. This will become the beer mug part of things, and I also have this blank which will become the handle. And I ended up making 2 of these just in case I ended up destroying this first one, I'd have a backup. So let's go ahead and turn these pieces into a beer mug. The first thing to do was to find the center point of my blank. Then from there, I wanted to mark 2 circles with my compass. First, one on the inside that was the width of my Forstner bit. Second, one that would later be the width of the outside of my mug, which was about 3 inches in diameter. Now, without a lathe or a drill press, drilling this hole took a lot of work. Maybe an hour or so. It was a hot day and my batteries consistently drained fast and overheated. But with my mug clamped into my vise, slowly but surely I drilled my hole using a 2 1/8 inch bit that I had on hand. And here you can see how deep I drilled. Now this is an 8.4 ounce can, so my mug will hold about 10 ounces of liquid. Now I tried for 12, but couldn't drill any deeper unfortunately. If you're looking to solve that, a slightly larger drill bit should do the trick at the same depth. I wanted to take down some of the material on my blank and make sanding and finishing easier. Now this isn't actually necessary, but since I had my turbo plane on hand, I did it to speed up my own build process. You could actually accomplish this same task with a table saw, a circular saw, or a bandsaw set at 45 degrees, or even just a belt sander with some rough grit paper. I just ended up using what was available most easily to me. Once it was roughly shaped, I began sanding on my stationary sander. I was using 120 grit, which was way too fine, so it took longer than it should have. But had I lowered the grit, this rounding process could have been done pretty easily. And it was fun to see it take shape and the cool patterns of the grain start to emerge. I also flattened one side, which would later glue to the handle. Next, I designed and cut my handle, which I completely freehanded based on what a simple beer handle mug should look like, and then I cut it out on my bandsaw. You could also do this with a jigsaw or even a simple hand saw or coping saw if you have those available. I then smoothed over all of the edges and surfaces on the belt sander. Next, I did a few wet and dry sandings at 220 and 320 grit before gluing up. Since the mug would get wet, this was important to keep it smooth long term. Then, with a bit of Titebond 2 glue, I could attach the handle to my mug and clamp it up. I thought it was pretty cool to have the grain of the mug running horizontal and the grain of the handle run vertical. And after I let it dry overnight, I could add a food-safe mineral oil finish to all of the surfaces. In order to seal the interior and prevent leaks, I rubbed a layer of Titebond 2 glue to all of the interior surfaces, which is both water resistant and food safe. And I'm sure there are other ways to do this, but I used what I had on hand to keep the project as cheap as possible, and it worked just fine. And with the glue and mineral oil dried, the mug was done and ready for testing. Hope you enjoyed this project. I had a lot of fun with it, mostly because it was rather simple, totally free for me, and a fun way to experiment with wood that was otherwise going to be thrown out. Make sure to hit the like button if you did enjoy the video, and please subscribe to the channel for any future projects, and I'll see you guys next time on The Cutting Board. Thanks for watching.